I think we're good.
For now. God damn those things. Nobody's bitten, right?
Nope. I'm good.
We're all fine. Let's just keep going.
Hey, you got a second?
Yeah.
I just want to say I'm sorry about Tess. That's it. I won't bring it up again.
Ellie, you don't need to worry about me. We should go check on Bill.
Okay.
Hey, Joel!
Yeah.
Give me a hand with this. What'd I tell you? There's that truck sticking out of the school right there. Come on. There's a bunch of them up there. Try not to make a sound.
What up, folks? Gonna be streaming soon. Streaming soon. The Last of Us. Season 2, Episode 4. Officially gonna first game.
Ellie, run! Run!
Oh, they're coming from everywhere!
Well, that was easier than I thought it'd be. They must be holed up somewhere else.
Well, let's not test our luck. How do we get inside?
Someone left a ladder on the bus. Here, get me up there and I'll drop it to you.
Don't get killed up there.
Thanks, Bill.
We're okay. We just need to get to the hood of the truck. Shit, you hear that? They're coming. Move it, kid. All right, we're gonna get in quick. We're gonna get the battery and we're gonna get the hell out of here. Go, 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 you two, go!
That's not gonna hold.
We'll make it fast. Grab this. Please tell me you're done.
It's empty.
What? Fucking empty.
Guys!
Bill, where to? Bill, where?
Anywhere but here.
You better haul ass. Come on. They're poking through.
Let's, we'll sneak out the back.
You two, follow me. I'll get us out of here.
Be my guest.
Tune in to watch our like button, subscribe button. We will be jumping into the episode starting at 7:30 p.m. Central Time, so it's about 15 minutes.
There's a way through. You gotta get past those guys. Okay, keep moving.
Looks like there's a path down this hallway.
They don't get much closer than that.
Help me open this.
All right, ready?
Come on.
Shit. There's more on the way. Barricade the doors.
This ain't gonna hold it for long. Oh, that don't sound good.
a goddamn bloater.
Oh, what?
Like this. Ellie, just stay away from it.
You gotta get up there. You can't climb these bleachers with all the
What was up with that big guy?
He's been infected for a long time. We call them bloaters.
Bloater. Okay, got it.
I hate to interrupt your little biology lesson, but can we get the fuck out of here, please? Get on top of these bleachers. Give me a boost, Joel. You gotta get up there. You can't climb these bleachers with all the
What was up with that big guy?
He's been infected for a long time. We call them bloaters.
Bloater. Okay, got it.
I hate to interrupt your little biology lesson, but can we get the fuck out of here, please? Get on top of these bleachers. Give me a boost, Joel. Let's go, people.
All right.
Here we go. All right, come on. Joel, behind you!
Son of a bitch!
Oh, shit.
I got it, I got it! Down to the last one.
Fucking hate those things.
All right, you got him. Let's go. Come on up.
Pull me up.
This way. We're sitting ducks here.
There's another ladder over here.
Keep going. I'm right behind you.
Inside the house now.
So that worked out well. Okay, I'll go check out this side of the house.
Bill?
Somebody had the same idea. They stole my shit.
Well, then what the hell is plan
Third
B?
episode.
You ought to be thankful you're still drawing breath. That was plan A, B, C, all the way to fucking Z. And furthermore, tell Tess that she could take
Don't
this
you
job.
bring Tess
She
into
can
this.
shove it right
This
up
has nothing to
her
do with... Jesus. What, you know this guy or something?
What's going on? We're gonna be starting The Last of Us Season 2, Episode
hell's
4
Frank?
watch party in
He was
about
my
10
clerk.
minutes. Just getting a little Last of Us first gameplay in before
Who's
we
the
get
only
going.
idiot that would wear a shirt like that? He's got bites.
Katie says can't wait.
Here.
Make sure you hit that like button.
And
Reckon he didn't want to turn, so he...
Yeah, guess not. Well, fuck him.
Look what I found. It's got some juice in it.
That's my battery. That fucking asshole.
Do we have any folks who have played the game
Get out.
hanging out with us tonight? I know I played
Get
the games.
out.
Okay. Jeez.
Really enjoyed both of them.
Battery's drained, but cells are alive.
Meaning?
Meaning, we push it, get it started, and the alternator will recharge the battery.
Is that your guess?
Look, you wanted a plan B. This is as good as it gets.
What are you thinking?
Thinking you drive and we push.
Jesus. That's more of my stuff. So what, you just gonna steal my shit and run off? Is that it, Frank? You should probably search the house. I'm sure there's more supplies.
It's a good idea.
Let me know when you're ready to finish this thing.
I'll give you a holler.
Ready?
You gonna be okay with this?
Yeah, not a problem.
You're doing a good job. I figured you should know that.
I won't let you down like this.
Bill, I found this in there, and I figured you should have it.
Well, that's how you feel. Well, fuck you too, Frank. Fucking idiot. You ready to go?
All right, let's do it.
Put her in first.
Already did it.
Just keep your foot on the clutch. And when we get to...
I know how to pop a clutch.
How the hell did... You know what? I don't care. Just don't fuck it up.
All right, Ellie, get ready.
Now, hit it! Hit it!
Hey, good job, kid.
Bill, not helping. Ellie, we're gonna give it another go. Stay focused.
Guys, over there, look out!
We're good. Back to the truck.
Game sure knew how to make some tense moments, didn't it? Oh my god.
Keep pushing. Keep pushing.
Guys, around that house, to your right.
Need another good like first person narrative driven story like this. I don't have a lot of those right now.
Come on, we don't have much time. Back to pushing.
If you're watching right now, man, let me know where you're from.
You know Jordan, huh?
From the other side, to your left.
All right, Ellie, get ready.
Get her to that hill.
All right, Ellie,
All
start
right,
it
we're gonna
up.
go ahead and put everything on hold. We'll be starting the stream shortly.
You hear that sound, Bill?
Yeah, well that means you back can hear it too. Just get the fucking truck. Go, for it!
After the party,
So yeah, we're gonna wait till the episode shows up on HBO Max, and then we will get going watching that. Again, this is The Last of Us, Season 2, Episode 4, live stream watch party. My name is JD, and we will be showing, we're having a watch party during the episode where we can talk in full spoilers on what's going on in the episode. I love when people jump in and chat with me while we're watching it. So that is what I'm expecting to have happen tonight. But yeah, in about 5 minutes or so, we're going to watch a quick recap of the last episode, which would be episode 3, as a way to get us primed and ready for the new episode, which should debut in about 20 minutes. If you're watching right now, or if you're watching after the fact, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. I would appreciate it. It helps out the channel a ton. All right. So let's get into the recap that we're going to watch of episode 3 and get some discussion going around that episode. I think it was a bit of a letdown because we're coming off the crazy events that happened in episode 2. So coming into episode 3, you expected a little bit more action, but there was absolutely, well, I won't say absolutely none, but there wasn't a ton of action that went down in the episode. But I think you kind of did need that coming off of what was a crazy and chaotic episode 2. So I'm very interested to see what they end up going with as far as episode 4 goes and the rest of the season, because we have gotten to the point now where I have a feeling that they're going to finish the entire second game during this season of the show. So what are we going to do for season 3? Is the show just going to be over? Those are questions that I do not have answers to, and I haven't heard anybody else speak on that either. So I'm really interested to see what happens with that, and if we end up having more of if the show continues and goes ahead of the games. Once the games come out, are they going to reuse some of the events that happened in the series in the actual game and let you play them out? I guess if it worked the opposite way with the show now, it would be okay if we saw what was going to happen and then you got to sort of play it out in the game, which would be interesting sort of flip on the way things are currently. But I don't know if I necessarily want it to be like that or not, but they're running out of a story to tell on the show, at least. So we're going to have them end up bringing a whole bunch more into the world, or they're just going to divert and do their own thing, which is kind of what they did with Game of Thrones, because they did not have the end of the Game of Thrones show, which they were taking inspiration from the books. They did not have the final book written, so they didn't, and the final book still isn't written. So they didn't have that guide to go for as far as the rest of the show is concerned. So that last season was kind of rudderless, and it showed, especially the ending of it all. It really showed, and I don't want to see that happen with The Last of Us. So I hope that if they end up producing more content as far as the show goes, that they'll have some very direct guidance from the people who are going to be making the third game, if that third game is even going to come out. So yeah, a lot of questions surrounding that. A lot of questions. So yeah, let's do a little bit of a recap.
Third episode starts outside Jackson's walls. The bodies of the infected horde are still smoldering. Inside, a woman is preparing Joel's body for burial when Tommy enters the room and takes over. He lifts the sheet over the body to see Joel's face. The angle doesn't show us anything, and then gets to work cleaning his brother's body with a rag.
Yeah, that was a tough scene, man. Seeing him look at his brother like that, knowing that he was gone, knowing that he's not going to be back. Just brought some finality to it all. Seeing the watch in his hands, like, man, that was rough. That was rough. Heck of an episode. And I can only imagine how those people who haven't seen the game felt when everything that went down in that second episode went down.
Pauses when he sees the broken watch. Give Sarah my love, Tommy whispers. As the camera pulls back, we see a lot more bodies laid out in the morgue. At the overrun hospital, Ellie comes back to consciousness, remembers what happened, and screams as she sobs. The staff sedates her. 3 months later, Jackson is rebuilding.
Yeah, I wasn't necessarily expecting that 3-month jump. And the fact that Ellie had been in the hospital that long was crazy too. So I was not expecting that. If you're liking the content on this channel, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. We're going to be watching the episode shortly.
Ellie is physically healed, but the hospital won't release her until she talks to Gale. Yeah, I miss him. He meant a lot to me, the teen says. It's the truth, but she says it too quickly and easily, and Gale knows she's just repeating what's necessary in order to be discharged. Ellie says she didn't talk to Joel when she saw him on the porch after their New Year's fight. But she asserts that your final moment with someone doesn't define your whole relationship. She also pretends not to know what Joel meant when Gale mentions his "I saved her" comment from therapy. Man, I wish I could have let him off the hook for whatever it was he was talking about, she says. Gale gives her some major side-eye, but authorizes her release anyway. At Joel and Ellie's house, mourners have left notes and flowers at the fence. The house feels so empty as Ellie roams around it. She takes...
Yeah, to me, that was the most emotional part of the entire episode, man. Like, I could only imagine having pretty much only one person left on the planet that you have a very close emotional tie with, and to have that person be gone, and then to be in the house that that person lived in, and to look through their clothes and see their old possessions. Like, man, that was rough. That was rough. That would bring anybody to tears and to really going into a deep depression. And you can kind of tell that she is battling through that as best she can. She tries to put up a very tough exterior, but we know on the inside that she is completely broken, man.
His gun and puts it in her waistband, but is brought up short when she turns and sees his clothes hanging in his closet. She cries as she gently touches a sleeve, then cries harder as she buries her face in the cloth. Downstairs, Dina enters the house and calls for her. Ellie quickly stops her tears and dries her eyes.
If you're tuning in right now, we're watching a recap of Season 2, Episode 3 of The Last of Us. We're going to be watching Season 2, Episode 4 of The Last of Us coming up when it debuts on Max in about 15 minutes. So yeah, jump in the chat right now. Let me know what you think of Episode 3. I did not like it quite as much as Episode 2, of course. It was a little low on the action, but understandably so.
Offering because I'm about to make you angry. Though she visited Ellie a bunch of times during her convalescence, she lied about not being able to identify Joel's attackers. I know most of their names, and I know where they're from, she admits. And Dina was right. Ellie is mad. You cost us time. You let them get away, she says.
Hit
but
that
Dina
like button,
reality
folks.
checks her. A lot of other people died, and no one, including Ellie, was in any kind of shape to form a posse. Second, because she knows where Abby and Co. are heading, maybe let them get there first. She's near tears as she reminds Ellie, I loved him too, you know. Ellie softens and takes a bite of a cookie, a sign of a truce. So, here's what Dina knows. In addition to Abby, there's Manny, Owen, Nora, and another woman, whom we know as Mel. One of them had a patch on their backpack that said WLF, which reminds Dina of a group Eugene once told her about, the Seattle-based Washington Liberation Front, a regional group fighting Fedra.
I can't wait till we get to the episode that's going to be the Eugene-focused and centric episode. Yeah, can't wait for that one. I don't know exactly when that's going to come in the season, but if they're going to be devoting an entire episode to Eugene and his character, I know that it's going to have to be a good one. I'm guessing that one is coming up either this week. I haven't looked at any previews and stuff, so I don't know. So I'm guessing it's either this week or next week where we get that Eugene sort of centric episode, but I know that one's going to be good.
Dina hasn't mentioned any of this to anyone else. So, she asks her friend, now what? They share the intel with Tommy, who, surprisingly to Ellie, hesitates. She argues that if the situation were reversed, Joel would be halfway to Seattle before the sun came up. He agrees that would be the case, if Tommy needed saving. But when we lost people, no, it would just break him like it was his fault. I saw that time and time again. He counsels Ellie to bring the matter to the town council, and he promises he'll back her. Come here, he says, pulling Ellie to him in a hug. She obliges him, but after a moment puts her arm around him and squeezes back. Then he lets her know that they buried everyone 10 miles south out of town. If you want to visit him. She nods. When we're on our way to Seattle, she says. Somewhere else in the woods.
I still don't know about them traveling together. I know they end up going, and this is part of the game too, but I know that they end up traveling and going to Seattle by the end of the episode, but like their viability of just the two of them rolling out there and the fact that they didn't encounter anyone, they didn't run into any sort of hostility until they got all the way to Seattle is crazy to me. There's a part where they end up like camping and stuff. There is no way I could be out there camping during this sort of zombie overrun state of the world. Like, how could you ever sleep? How could you ever relax enough if you don't have to worry about people actually coming over there to take you, to take your belongings, to take pieces of you? You have to worry about the infected being there also. So man, there's no way. There's no way that I'd be able to rest. No way I'd be able to relax.
Woods. A group of people are traveling on foot. All the men have shaved heads and all the women's hair is braided. They all wear clothing with a rudimentary fish symbol drawn on it and carry hammers. Everyone, even the children, have scars from where the corners of their mouths have been slit up into their cheeks. One of the men walks alongside his young daughter, who wonders why she can't just keep them safe. The prophet? She's been dead 10 years, he says. He adds that the distance they're putting between themselves and war is going to keep her safer. Then,
We're watching
someone
a
at the head of the
recap
group
The Last
whistles
of
an
Us,
alarm that has
season
everyone
2,
diving into
episode
the brush
3,
to take
before
cover.
we jump into season
Demons,
2, episode 4, coming
the little
up
girl
at the
whispers
top
as
of
they
the
hide.
hour.
Wolves, her father replies. On the day of the town meeting, the council and the rest of Jackson considers Ellie's request to send a 16-person team to take down Abby. One woman argues that we are too hurt and it is too soon. Another says that they need to have mercy to separate
you gonna talk?
themselves from the raiders and murderers, a sentiment that
Hello.
angers.
I was gonna say, if you guys are just tuning in right now, my beautiful wife Katie is coming on stream with us right now. She's about to go to work and do some stuff for a little bit, so we're only gonna get her for a few seconds. But
Unfortunately, I have to go to work like right when this airs.
yeah, always is the case.
Not
And I
my
know
choice.
this channel is called Watch Stuff with Us, and the us part of it has not been on here nearly enough.
You know
So
what?
it's been a whole bunch of
You don't
Watch
need-
Stuff with JD
You don't
as
need
of
to
late.
keep calling me out. I'm doing
Yep,
my best.
every time you come on here and you're not sitting in that seat and sitting down for the entire episode, you're gonna get called out.
I'm busy being a hustler. I'm doing my best.
No, you are. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for at least coming in and hanging out for a second.
You're welcome. I just want people to know I'm still alive.
Yes, definitely still alive. But yeah, we're doing a recap of episode 3 right
that I
now.
haven't seen and I
that you
need
haven't
to
seen. Yep, I know
watch.
you
So
need to
it's
catch
probably
up.
a good thing I'm not on tonight.
Need to catch up.
I will be on next week.
Yep.
There's going to be one next week, right? We're still doing this.
Of course.
Okay.
Of
I
course.
just didn't know if they were
No,
like
it's
cut off on
it's-
releasing or how many episodes.
No, it's always gonna be going down. Always gonna be going down.
No, I just mean for the show itself.
Oh yeah, no, definitely.
For The Last of Us, I didn't know how many they got.
No, definitely. Definitely. So yeah. I appreciate you for hanging out with us for a second. But yeah, we're just gonna jump back into this.
'Kay.
See you soon.
All right, love you.
Be safe. I
Bye,
love you
guys.
too.
Take care.
Here's Seth. Grow up, you idiots, he roars as Ellie looks on, surprised but pleased. They will come back. They'll come back because we didn't make them pay. And when they come back, they will be laughing, and you'll all deserve it, bunch of goddamn victims. Ellie is the last person to make her case. Per Jessie's advice, she wrote her thoughts down ahead of time, so she reads them to the crowd. She swears her motive is not revenge, but justice. I am asking you, please, do it for us, she says, tears in her eyes. It's moving, but not enough to sway the council, which votes 8-3 against going. But does Ellie care? She does not. She's preparing to head out on her own.
Yeah, and I know that, I mean, everybody could figure when this was going down that regardless of what their decision was going to be, that Ellie was going to go off and do her own thing. It would have been nice for them to have gotten a little bit more support, but I also understand the way that the rest of the town feels at this point, that they've already lost a huge number of people a few months ago. And for them to send out, I believe the number was 16 people to go out there again and risk their lives to basically do a revenge mission, they're not really down with that. So I can understand why they want to hold on to the people that they do have.
When Dina knocks on the garage door later that night. I'm just going to bed, Ellie calls out. No, I don't think that is where you're going, her friend Riley notes. Once Ellie lets her in, Dina pokes quick and efficient holes in her plan to get Abby. No clear route, no medical supplies, etc. Thankfully, Dina has made a sound plan and enlisted the help of someone who can get them supplies. That guy turns out to be Seth, who even trades his gun for Ellie's before
Yeah, was not expecting Seth to be the one to come in and try to help them out, but he's trying to not revenge. He's trying to gain the favor and right a wrong that he made by calling them out at the dance and being rude to them. So he's trying to show that, like, hey, you know, I made a mistake and now I'm trying to help you guys out. So that was pretty cool on his behalf. I wasn't expecting him to be one of the ones that would help him, but it did make total sense.
seeing the ladies on their way. At sunrise, Ellie stops at Joel's grave and puts some coffee beans on it.
Doing a
before heading on
recap
her
of
way.
episode 3 right now. Episode
Dina
4 is
and
coming
Ellie
up in
share
about
a horse,
5 minutes.
Shimmer, as they continue towards Seattle. One night, they make camp. under
Seattle
an
Ryan
outcropping
in the
just as
building.
rain starts
Yes,
to
you have
pour down.
arrived, man. I was panicking.
They're
I was
about
a
to
little
go
nervous,
to
man.
sleep when
A little
Dina
nervous.
brings up their kiss at the dance.
Welcome back, bro.
Ellie quickly says it didn't mean anything, given how high Dina was at the time, but Dina wants her to rate it anyway. Ellie gives it a 6 out of 10. We learn that Dina and Jesse have already gotten back together, and things are a little awkward as Dina turns off the light.
That whole rating thing, that was so goofy. And I guess it's like, you know, young kids sort of thing that they would go about doing. But yeah, Dina's drama. Dina's drama.
But then she adds, Ellie, I wasn't that high, before she falls asleep.
Oh man, you turn a big 42 tomorrow?
And they're on a
Happy
trail
early
about
birthday,
10 miles
bro.
outside
Happy
of
early
Seattle.
birthday, my man.
The
Hold on,
pair
I got
come
something for you. I got something for you.
Yes! 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 Yes!
Happy birthday, bro. Happy birthday. Oh, I forgot to give you this too, man.
What's up, buddy? Good to see ya.
Yeah, good to see you, my man. Turning 42. I am 43 myself, and I'll be turning 44 coming up in October. So just a little bit older than you, man. Just a little bit older. But yeah, cool. Nice to see some people of a like age, you know, a nice maturity level on this channel. So I'm glad that you're here, my man.
Across a dead member of the group we saw earlier. He's wearing the fish coat and has gunshots in his back. Dina investigates a little deeper into the trees, runs back, and then throws up. Ellie goes to see what made Dina so ill and finds the entire group we saw earlier dead and rotting, even the kids. Ellie immediately suspects Abby and her crew are behind the violence. As they approach the city, Dina and Ellie guess that there probably aren't that many members of the WLF, or Wolves. Otherwise, wouldn't people be shooting at them as they get closer to Seattle?
I mean, that was a good observation on her behalf. And yeah, you would think that there would be more people that would be sort of shooting at them if they were getting close to that area. But yeah, either way though, you're walking into their territory, man. I don't know if that was the smartest plan, especially when it's just two of them. And it's not like they're Abby from the game either. Like they're not big strapping women or anything like that. So a little nervous for their for their futures as we move forward in the show. And if anything that this show and game series has shown, that like nobody's safe, man. Anybody could go down at any time.
But they don't know what we do. The Wolves are a highly militarized group with lookouts, tanks, and a large infantry that's marching through the city. Ellie and Dina are outnumbered in the extreme.
Yeah, outnumbered in the extreme is correct, man. That's crazy. They got a lot to deal with, a whole bunch to deal with. So we will see if they're able to deal with that. Yeah, we're about 4 minutes away from the episode hopefully being up on Max. But yeah, we're going to do a full-on live watch party for the episode. So if you're watching right now, hit the subscribe button, man. I do this every week for this show. So don't think that this is just some one-off that you happen to scroll through on YouTube and find. Like, no, I'm here every week. If you subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell, you'll get notified every time I go live. This isn't the only show that we do. We do The Handmaid's Tale. We have done many other shows. All the Marvel shows that come out, we do those. I cover all the Marvel content. I just did a live stream earlier today talking about Thunderbolts. Full spoilers on that if you want to go back and check out that live stream. We do trailer reactions. We react to all sorts of shows, movies, everything. So yeah, if you like that kind of stuff, hit that subscribe button. And the cool part about it too is if you hit that subscribe button, there's like a cool little pop-up that happens on the screen. So I've been waiting for somebody to do that. I haven't really seen anybody do it exactly on time when I'm on the stream so that it will pop up, but kind of hoping that somebody does it at some point relatively soon. But yeah, so yeah, we're going to be starting in about 3 minutes. Thunderbolts was good, man. It was good. It was a solid movie. I give it a solid, I'm torn between 3.5 and 4 stars out of 5, but yeah, it was good. It was good. Oh, you got the Regal Unlimited pass. Not bad, man. Not bad. I need something like that. I got a deep family though, so I'll be spending way too much money if I ended up having to get the pass for all of us. But yeah, that is pretty good, man. That is a pretty good thing. Yeah, I thought it was a good movie. Love the Sentry. Love his alter ego as well. I can't wait till we get more of that. They are going to have to nerf him before Doomsday somehow, but I guess he's already sort of nerfed himself at the end of the movie. So, but yeah, that's not what you're here for. You're here for The Last of Us, and we're going to end up watching that episode shortly. So I am going to switch my screens up real quick. Close that one out. And switch to that screen. Perfect. Yeah, Century is like the Hulk. Yeah, big time. And I mean, they kind of nerfed the Hulk too in the regular show. So like that's or in the regular movies, they've nerfed the Hulk at this point. So yeah, it's cool to see somebody who's pretty powerful be on the actual show slash movie, I should say. But yeah, I am going to refresh my screen and see if the episode is up yet. Yes, it is. Looks like it just popped up. So, as I always say, I cannot show the episode on stream. But feel free to sync up your copy with mine, and I will start my timer as soon as I get my script up. And I'm gonna hit play. I'm not gonna skip anything if you're watching and want to sync it up with mine. So all the intros, all the recap, I'm just gonna hit play, start my timer, and then we're gonna go from there. So we will start that in 3, 2. Oh, hold on. False start. All right, 3, 2, 1. You welcoming Ellie to Seattle? All right, for sure. I'd rather, just personally, I'd rather welcome Dina. You know, just saying. Whatever's happening here for these soldiers is not going to end well. I'm pretty sure he played Fedra in the games too. How do you drive up to a situation like that? Like you had to have seen that bus for at least a block or two beforehand. So now you're like all the way up in front of it. Now you can't get out. Not too bright. Yeah, I can't think of his name right now, man. He's done a ton of movies. He was actually the Watcher in the Marvel What If series. Just can't think of his name right now. Come with me, dude. Is like, we are watching The Last of Us season 2, episode 4 right now. If you are watching, you can sync up your copy with mine. You can see my timestamp above. Jump in the chat. Let me know if you're watching too. Hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button too. We do this every week for this show. Isaac, yeah, that's his name. Oh. Yeah, a few frames behind me. That's probably not the best place to be. If anything, I would try to like get a little bit ahead of where I'm at. So then you can hear me comment on stuff that's already happened. So you might want to just jump ahead. Maybe you could skip the theme right now since the theme is playing. But yeah, excited for this, man. Excited for this. Excited for this. If you're watching right now, jump in the chat with us, man. Jump in the chat. Hit that like button. Should have reloaded my drink, man. I'm running out of my drink. Yeah, man. They went kablooey. Wasn't expecting that. I can't remember if that's in the game or not. 11 years later. Oh, okay. So that was a super long ago flashback. All right. Man, why is my chat acting all crazy? We are watching The Last of Us season 2, episode 4 right now. Full spoilers in this talk or in this chat. So if you are watching and you don't want spoilers, this is not the stream for you because we're going to be talking about it all. So this is Ellie and Dina's first day in Seattle. It is crazy that they've made it this far into town and like nobody has realized that they're there yet. That's a little odd. Okay, there we go. Chat back. I don't know what was going on with it. It all just disappeared on me for a second. Silent Ninja Warrior Savage. Yeah, something. I mean, it's. I would say it's hard to be a silent Ninja Warrior Savage rolling on a horse, but I guess that's what they doing. They're on Capitol Hill. Oh, okay. So you know the area. That's cool. Yeah, I wish somehow in this series we could make it to Chicago so I would be able to recognize some of the areas that some of the stuff would be taking place in. Especially like big city life. That would be cool to see. I work at the college in Capitol. Oh, that's dope, bro. That's dope. That's dope. Yeah, a little loud there. A little loud. And then Dina's just standing there in the middle of the street. Like, come on, man. I really don't feel like there's any way that they would have made it this far, like in real life. I mean, like, what are they really expecting that they're gonna be able to do right now? You're just gonna roll up there and just take everybody out? Yeah, no plan, man. They had a full day's ride and night to get to where they're at, and they come up with like zero plan to do this. Like you could not just be sitting in the middle of the street talking. Like all of this stuff is just no way, man. No way. Not realistic at all. Not realistic at all. If you're watching right now, please hit that like button, man. Hit that like button. We got to get these likes up. Yeah, it is a video game. Yep. So yeah, no, I totally understand that. Let's just go to the record shop, you know. Dina gonna actually play the drums. Let's literally play the drums in a place that could be infected with zombies. Brilliant plan. Brilliant plan. Mm. Got the guitar. Missing some Joel, I'm guessing. If you're just tuning in right now, we're watching The Last of Us Season 2, Episode 4. My name is JD. Watch the episode with me. You can see right in that corner over there, it says exactly where I'm at in the episode. So you can sync your copy up of the episode up with mine, and we can watch the show together. Just like me and my guy Seattle Ryan are doing right now. Yes, sir, is correct. Gotta say, I'm digging Dina, man. I mean, nothing against you if you're more of an Ellie type of guy, but I really don't know how much time there'd be for love in a situation like this either, man. It's a little crazy for me. I wonder if we're gonna get a bunch of the show kind of stalling things out a little bit now, because they are going to, I'm guessing they're going to finish this entire second game during this season. Got my eyes rolling a little bit right now. Got my eyes rolling. I'm guessing there's going to be a season 3. From everything I understand, there's going to be a season 3. But I don't know what content they're going to do for it. Because like I said, I'm thinking they're going to finish the entire second game this season. And if there isn't a third game, that means they're going to be out there on their own. We need Joe back. This is getting kind of weak. Yeah. Yeah. We need some more. We need another character to really, really focus on. Yeah, I don't know if Ellie is really it. Got a feeling he talking to nobody right now, or somebody he has tied up, or some infected, or something like that. Yeah, definitely Isaac. Yeah, the question is who is he talking to? Yep. Oh man, they could at least threw my man some pants on real quick. Come on, man. Yeah, it must be real chilly. Real chilly in there. They would have had to hook, if I was gonna be on the show, they would have had to hook me up with something better than that. Like I just assuming that it was like a prosthetic that they showing on there or something like that. But if I didn't measure up, I would have to have some kind of extension because this is my big moment. Mm. At least let me live and make believe. Well, nigga, right? Yeah, you have to put me out of my misery, man. I ain't getting tortured. We're watching The Last of Us, season 2, episode 4 right now. If you're also watching it, jump in the chat. Let me know what you think of the episode so far. You don't have to let me know what you think of this guy's junk, though. Oh, that's the dude from the beginning. He cold now, huh? Okay. Dina could have wore something a little bit more camouflage than the blue jacket with the rainbow sleeves on it. I do remember those coats from when I was a kid, though. That's like straight out of the 80s. Mm. They could have put on like some of the Wolves' clothes. Like I would have took dude's shirt and started rocking it, because at least that would give me a few seconds if somebody were to find me. Yeah, man. Killed half the runtime on what exactly? Yeah, nothing. They haven't done anything. All we've seen is a little bit of the background of Isaac, which is cool. That's cool. But yeah, they've burned a whole 2 days now. 1 day of travel, another day of playing the band and singing to each other. Yeah, lots of guts, man. Lots of guts. The Seraphites are no joke. Yeah, why'd y'all go to Seattle? Stepped into the middle of something you had no idea what was going on. put the gear on, man. I don't know whatever, man. Whatever. I'm gonna let it play out before I start tearing it apart. I'm gonna let it play out. Dina's eyes. Isn't the idea of clearing a room making sure that each and every corner is like actually clear? Oh, she gonna use her skills from earlier in the season, episode 1. I would have took a gun with me though. Ain't no way I'm running out and just not bringing anything extra. I'm taking some extras with me. We are watching The Last of Us season 2, episode 4 right now. Dina and Ellie in some trouble. Oh, we got some more people who can't shoot with automatic weapons. You love to see it. Yeah, they in some deep doo-doo. So now that they underground, I'm guessing they're gonna have to deal with the infected down there. So yeah, would have been nice to grab one of those M4s or something before you left. Oh, dude, man. Yeah, it would be dope, man, to do it in person. I got like a few friends and stuff that I've done these shows with in the past and like had to have them like actually come on. But yeah, if you ever wanted to come on, man, like I could totally set that up and like you could come on and do the show with me one of these weeks. So yeah, if you down, just let me know, man. All you got to do is have like a decent camera on your computer and stuff like that. But yeah, no, it would be super cool. Yeah, and I did see what you did there. I caught it. Well, like Dina counting clickers right now. Got 4 of them, 5 of them down there. Oh man. Oh yeah, those flares. More than 5. Oh, way more than 5. Oh my God. Mm. As much as they've seen, like I don't think that seeing a few skeletons would mess me up a whole bunch. Glad the action is picking up though. Mm. Man. All right, getting kind of intense now. It's getting good. It's getting good. It's getting good. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. At least it's some action. It's been quiet for too long. That fence ain't gonna hold long, so y'all better get running. Mm. Mm. Oh no. Oh. Mm. Yep. She gonna have to let her know what the deal is. You would not have to tell me to come on. Run. Run. You gotta run somewhere. We are watching The Last of Us Season 2, Episode 4 right now. Dina and Ellie in some major trouble. If you're watching right now, drop your comments in the chat too. I mean, just give it some time, you know? If you don't believe it, just give it some time. Unless she doesn't. I mean, I get it from Dina's point of view, though. You can't trust anybody. Yeah. We got stalkers in the first episode, but yeah, haven't seen any of them since then. They're coming though. If they follow the way the game goes, they're coming. Yes, sir. Bloody boy in the building. What's going on, my man? Welcome back. Thanks for joining in. Are you watching The Last of Us 2, my man? She's immune, man. It's all good. It's all good. Don't shoot her. Pregnant. Let's get it. Yes, I'm watching. I'm a very big fan of games. Probably my favorite all time, but show is, man, sometimes cringe, sometimes goofy. Dude, you got that right, man. That's exactly how I would describe it. Like, yeah, meh, goofy, cringe. Like, even this right now, like, come on, man. Like, come on. Come on. And I mean, like, I get that. I mean, love is love, and you're going to want to be connected with somebody like that. That's fine. But like, I don't feel like, even knowing myself, like in a time and a place like this, like there's no time for that, man. Like, I'm trying to survive. I'm trying to live. That aspect of me is gonna have to be put on the back burner. But like I said, it's not realistic. It's not real life. It's just a game, just a show. But yeah, now that they've let it out the bag that Dina is pregnant, there's no way that she's gonna last very much longer in this show. Can you imagine bringing a baby up in a world like this? Like, it would be crazy. So now there would be two moms. This is having to cram down our throats. Yeah, man. It's a lot of people have felt that way. A lot of people felt that they have a big time agenda with this show. Um, I mean, that's the way the games were too. So like, I get it. And they're just staying true to that. But with the climate that the world is in right now, I don't know if that's necessarily the best choice or um, the best story that they would want to tell at this point. But I mean, I get it. They're staying truthful to the story, to the content. So I'm okay with it. I just don't like the unrealistic nature of some of the relationships in the show. Even the Daredevil turned out to be dubious. He came to gather a gang to fight fists, but ended up in a bar. Some homeless people, a barmaid, and 3 police officers. Like, that's funny, but that is actually the group that he ended up with. Cherry's like a super cop though. Not really. Not really. I ain't hating on people's preference, but why I'm pregnant, them. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know. Emotions running high, I guess. Emotions running high. I mean, like I said, I get it. I get it. But like, there would be no time for that for me right now. Like, I'm trying to survive. I'm trying to live. I need to get to some safe place or some sense of calm, and then I can maybe decide to get my grind on. But until then, ain't happening. And then especially like this, you can just feel that they're baiting you to care about their relationship just to rip one of them away from us, since they've already taken Joel. So like I said, Dina isn't long for this show, unfortunately. And I mean, just not even not even talking like the game wise, just knowing how this world is, how this environment is. There's no way that they're gonna let this type of relationship happen, and for anybody to be able to hold on to somebody for the long term. Um, I gotta blow my hands. Yeah. Dina's probably gonna be gone pretty soon. Ellie will end up with her the baby, I bet you. Oh my god, man. I can't. Ellie don't strike me as the best mom. I'm sorry. I don't think they necessarily want to saddle, or they would want to saddle Ellie with a baby. But Yeah. I mean, it's the typical arc in a situation like this. So I'm wondering and hoping how they can flip that, how they can do something different as far as that would be concerned. Because typical would be, yeah, Ellie would end up with the baby, or Dina's boyfriend that she had at the very beginning would end up with the baby or something. In my country, there's a big meme that Bella Ramsey looks like our famous male actor. Oh man! All right, I'm gonna Google it. I'm gonna Google it right now. Twins. Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. Oh, now that's dude. Now that's super cringe. Ellie talking about I'm gonna be a dad. Like, no, no. The baby has a dad. Like, what are you talking about? Like it's a war zone down there. Right. Yeah, why the French? Joe Foster, what's going on, my man? Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, man. Said I'd rather be watching Forrest Gump. Oh man. All right, the episode just ended. Let me stop my timer real quick. Hold on, and we're gonna have to get into this because yeah, this was some stuff tonight, man. This was some stuff. So yeah, let me stop my timer. I'm gonna stop the episode. Let me see if anyone has their recap of the episode up already, because all the big streamers and stuff, they got the episode well in advance. So, usually they have their recaps up and they come out like right when the episode is over. So, let me look and see if I can check one of the channels I normally go to. Let's see what new rock stars got going on right now. Let me switch my screen up so y'all can see what I'm watching too. But yeah, just finished the episode, man. Let me know what you guys think before I find a recap for us to watch. Let me know what you guys think. Yeah, that was interesting. That was interesting. No, it doesn't look like anybody has their stuff up yet. I'm guessing it'll be up shortly though. I'm guessing it will. Yeah, it's kind of hard. At least watching this, it's kind of hard to fake sort of excitement for everything. As far as this show is concerned. Um, but yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Let me unmute my desktop audio. But bloody body man, I forgot to hit my button for you.
What's up, buddy? Good to see ya.
But yeah, every time we get somebody returning into the chat, gotta give them a what's up, buddy. But yeah, this was definitely interesting. This was interesting. By the way, I would like to try to go one-on-one with Bella Ramsey. I think I would have a lot. Yeah, man. I get like in the video game, the portrayal of Ellie was she was her look and stuff I think is spot on as far as her physical characteristics. Like she was a smaller girl. I think that from what I understand, the character on the show or the actress on the show who plays Abby was actually a lot of people fan casted for her to play Ellie. So yeah, I think that would have been pretty cool to actually have seen that. I think she would fit more as Ellie as opposed to Dina. Oh, Ryan, you out of here, my man? Dude, I appreciate you for hanging out tonight. Please don't be a stranger. As always, man, you like one of my aces. I really appreciate you for coming back, man. And yeah, have a great week, bro. Have a great week. But yeah, so yeah, they were going to have that actress, or a lot of people wanted that actress to play Ellie. And I would think that you need almost a bigger, more physically imposing person to play Abby, because that she was physically, imposing in the game, and the actress that they have playing her now does not appear that way at all. But getting back into this actual episode that we just finished, man, I don't know. It does kind of feel like some agendas are being forced a little bit out there, but it's part of the game. I think the show has trouble right now trying to make, and the game did the same thing. Once Joel was gone, it was hard to have somebody that you really cared about in the show. And I think the way that they're building up Ellie at this point does not make you want to care about her character. She isn't someone she's someone that you feel sorry for, in that she's had to deal with all the loss that she's had to deal with. But as far as a character, as far as a person, she isn't someone that I'm like, man, I don't want anything to happen to her. This is just more so like, she's our girl, but I don't know. Bloody says the actress who plays Abby was supposed to play Ellie in the cancel all the Last of Us movie, but years passed and plans changed and they decided to cast this cute. I'm not gonna call her that. I think that she's a great actress. I can roll with that. I think that you have to kind of and I think they're staying very close to the source material, but the source material was also flawed. The source material also had us, if playing the game, the same feelings that I have now with the show are the same feelings that I felt during the game as well, where you're like, it's cool, Ellie is cool, but like, do I really care about her? I think Joel was really the heart of the show and the heart of the game. And then once you rip that out from everybody, like, where do you go from here? It would have been cool to see what they could have possibly come up with if they would have kept him alive. But yeah, I mean, they stayed true to the source material. And like I said, I understand that, I get that, but yeah, not exactly feeling the show, man. It's a good show. Same way I felt during the game. I think the game was able to keep you a little bit more involved because you got to do more background work on Abby. I don't know if they're going to give us more of that as the season goes on, but there are some key story beats and elements that have not played out with Abby yet that were in the game. So I'm guessing we're going to get those as we continue on. But yeah, just kind of kind of a downer. It's not a it's it's a good show. It's well acted. I think that the story and the plot of the show though is struggling a bit, and it makes you kind of waver in the amount that you actually care for the characters who are on the show. So that makes it difficult, man. That makes it rough. What do you guys think? As you can see, we throw our comments onto the screen. Please hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. I do this every week for The Last of Us. So this is not going to be the last time you see me on here talking about this show. So what did you think of the show? That's what I care about. We heard from Bloody already. My guy Ryan has made his comments well known in the chat. If you are watching right now, let me know what you thought of the episode. If you had to rate it on a scale of 1 to 5, what would you give it? I'd give it a solid 3. I'd give it a solid 3. Buddy says Ellie in the second part of the game is a very prepared, capable person for battles. Her build, height, and so on help her. And in the series, there was a jump of several years and Bella Ramsey visually. Yeah. Is exactly 14. Somehow strange and repulsive, my opinion. Yeah. Like I get that. And I mean, like, I think that she plays almost like a harder version of Ellie than what we get in the game. Ellie always sort of comes across in the show, at least, as just some, as for lack of better words, young punk, somebody who is, almost like a spoiled brat and, has to get her way. And I get that, she has that youth, but there's not the other side of her that you care about. And I think that they're trying to develop that now with her and her relationship with Dina, but it struggles because people look at the relationship between her and Dina and you automatically don't like that for whatever reason too. So like that makes it more difficult for us as watchers of the show to be able to gain that connection with her as a character. So yeah, man, it's tough. It's tough right now. I really want to see where they go. And I think that they need to start to swerve a little bit from the content in the game and start developing these characters in a bit of a different way. I don't think that we're going to get that in the actual show this season. But if there's a third season, I'm going to hope that we get something like that. I'm going to refresh my screen real quick and see if we got any more recaps up yet. Yes, we do. All right. Yep, we got some reactions up. Heavy Spoilers has their full breakdown. Let's start looking at that. Yeah, let's start looking at that. Is it MT? No, it's not MT doing Heavy Spoilers.
Welcome to the Heavy Spoilers.
So yeah, we're going to watch this Heavy Spoilers review and use that to talk a little bit about everything that happened on this episode tonight. So yeah.
Show. I'm your host, Paul, and in this video, we're breaking down The Last of Us.
If you're watching right now, drop your comments in the chat so we can discuss exactly what you think of the
Season
show.
2, Episode 4 is packed with Easter eggs, moments from the games, and lots of things to talk about. Revealing not only a new insight to Isaac, we also get a cameo to Peccat. There's also some big action sequences and some major changes to the game. The action was good. The action sequence was good. Come with us as we review the episode. As always, future spoilers will be saved for the end in the spoilers.
Yeah, we're not going to do into the
section,
spoilers,
which will give you a heads up before we hit. But at the beginning, though, we start off with a flashback to 2018. In our world, we had the release of Infinity War and Black Panther, with your boy walking out the cinema to all the stars. Here, they had the Cordyceps apocalypse and Fedra getting overthrown by rebels. Yay! One of my favorite parts of the show, though, is definitely these flashbacks. The first episode of Season 1 had a flashback to the 1960s, and this set up the Cordyceps jumping from insects to humans. Episode 2 saw the start of the outbreak and explained why Joel pretending to be an Atkins saved his life. After that, we got a couple after the outbreak, including the evacuation program in the area that Bill lived in. That was carried out by Fedra, who people are rightly getting Fedra up of. In the game, you constantly see the aftermath of their oppression and also how people rose up to fight them. There's groups like the Fireflies, whose attacks we saw in the game at the Boston QZ. Turns out Seattle has
I think that was one good thing about the games too, is that when you had the you kind of started out the game with Fedra being the main enemy, and you saw the Fireflies as a group of, like, you know, folks that are rebelling against them and their oppression. So like that was kind of cool to see, and you understood where they were coming from. But as the game goes along, you start realizing that, man, like all the factions are, you know, bad in some sort of way.
WLF, which stands for the Washington Liberation Front. We've actually just done a big video on the history of the Scars that also recounts their war against Fedra. I'll not go through all that again, but it's interesting to see how the roles reverse. Isaac left the group because he didn't align with their values and saw them as being overly oppressive. Fedra didn't understand why.
And they did give you a little bit of glimpse of that when Isaac was talking to the guy and that was also part of the group, and he knew the actual history as to why they were calling the folks voters. So yeah, that was kind of a little tip off that you know, Isaac wasn't exactly who he seemed to be and being part of the Fedra group, but he wasn't really a part of them.
Why people were leaving them, because they provided military protection. The wolves were out in the wild and didn't have an army backing them up. However, Fedra took away their rights and basically rationed out their food. In the game, you can even find some Fedra officers dead in a ration truck, much like the one we see in the episode. Due to all the soldiers who got killed in it, I did wonder if this was a nod to that moment. Either way, the truck in the game has fascist spray painted on the side, so you can get how the people felt about Fedra. They were fed up because they never fed ya. Anyway, on the flip side of this, we see Isaac's now wondering why people are leaving the WLF to go live with the Scars. They're seen as savages, all part of a religious cult, and he just doesn't get why.
Why?
But we will talk about it. The Wolves and the Scars, though, they basically parallel Ellie and Abby and show how a constant cycle of revenge just leads to absolutely nowhere. Throughout the game, you collect lots of different notes and see the environmental storytelling that fills in the story of ruined Seattle. This includes the slow reveal of how the Wolves overthrew the gang. Yeah, they've sort of blended a lot of these notes together. In an all-time surprise cameo that I had no idea was in the show, Josh Peck is playing a Fedra soldier, telling the rest of the truck how he's easy on the voters. It's a cruel joke, as the citizens of the QZ have lost all their rights, including the right to vote. So Fedra goons call them voters to belittle them. Isaac then explains the name and why it's an insult. In the present, though, he calls the Seraphites the Scars, which in itself's insulting. Obviously, they're called that because of their Glasgow-style scars, which each soldier is given as part of an initiation. This is carried out to remind them that the world is imperfect and filled with ugliness amongst the beauty. Scars is a name that the Seraphites dislike, though, which is something we see in the game with Lev.
You think we're gonna see a lot of Scars? Seraphites.
Where are the Scars attacking next?
The soldier also says how he caught people dishing out pamphlets.
We know what it was covered.
Initially, another soldier asks if they're WLF. This is a wildly deep cut Easter egg, as in the game you discover an early WF base of operations. This is hidden inside a pet store called Barco's. Like wolves, they run their operations from there, and you find lots of their paraphernalia. Last week, Dina also said how Eugene knew there were multiple groups across the US fighting against the corrupt Fedra rule. When you find the flyers for the WLF, she mentions how when she was in New Mexico, they had a similar group called the Ravens. So in the game, there's definitely that feeling of dissent, and amongst this, you find out they attacked a Fedra checkpoint. There is an office in there, and also a note. It alludes to a turncoat and a spy in the Fedra ranks who ended up helping Isaac. This note actually may have inspired the storyline here, as we don't really learn all that much about Isaac. At this point though, Fedra are clearly in power and filled with bravado, confidence, and acting like they're untouchable. It's a fantastic scene, and the new Fedra agent, he looks slightly uncomfortable. He's clearly wet behind the ears and also not in the joke. Hell, it might even be his first day, which is why Isaac chooses him to get out the truck. Played by Ben Alaz, you might recognize him from The Gilded Age. Is it Alaz or
Do not know that show.
Anyway, moving on. I think it's such a smart move to have Peck as a cameo because all your attention's on him. Then my jaw dropped when I heard that trademark deep voice and saw Jeffrey Wright playing Isaac. Even though obviously I knew he was in the show as he's in the game, it was brilliant seeing him. In the past, we've had several actors from the game pop up in different roles. For example, Troy Baker was at David's settlement and Ashley Johnson was Ellie's mum. I always felt Isaac was underused in the game though, and even theorized they got him just to use him in the show. It would be a total waste to not have him pop up up, and it's great seeing this character expanded upon. The caravan
Yeah, I
is
hope
then
that they
held up
decide to
by a
do more
school
with this
bus,
character.
which I feel like is kind of a symbol of innocence that's now juxtaposed by all the violence that's about to happen. Isaac goes out to calm it down, and we can see his name badge. This covers up his surname Dixon, which is what you learn from a note. We also know from the lore that the WLF was initially led by people named Jason and Emma. Their wanted posters line Seattle, and it's possible that this
Just
might be
finished
the latter,
watching
even though she
episode
is addressed
4
as
of The
Hannah.
Last of
Huge
Us, so
shout
we're
outs
doing a
to
little bit of recap right now.
Ripski9826 on our trailer video for also pointing out she's played by Alana Ubach. And I apologize, I'm butchering everyone's name today. I'm really sorry. Do you watch the videos for pronunciations or crap Easter eggs? You decide. I initially thought of the phrase hearts in mind though upon seeing this, and that's actually a counterinsurgency tactic used by the military to get the occupied on the occupier's side and stop any insurgency. It was used during the Second Iraq War, but also heavily in Vietnam. Due to the time frame the show started in, which is 2003, you can kind of make that parallel. Druckmann also made it clear that the game's idea of cycles of violence stems from living in the West Bank before moving out to Israel. His experiences there kind of stem out into the story, and
If
Dina
you're
was
watching right now, hit
originally
that
Jewish in the
subscribe
game,
button, man.
and
We
you
need all
even
the subs we
explored
can
a synagogue at one point. They seem to
Trying to
remove
get to
that from the show,
400,
but
man. It'd be
they
really
might
cool
address
if we
it
get
later
to
on.
that
There
point.
is a line
We're
about
at
how they don't really know
379
what
now, so
started
every
things,
sub
though. They're
counts.
just kind of locked into this war. You can draw lots of parallels to real life things, and even the characters fall victim to doing things they once hated. The opening is a complete haymaker though, and it kind of speaks to strength in numbers. All the wolves seem like they're unarmed, and I'm guessing even the new guy could potentially kill them. However, they have ideals that people like Isaac gravitate towards. Though little is known about him, we do know he was a former Marine. The military then got shifted to Fedra, and he was basically forced to follow orders he didn't agree with. 15 years has taken its toll, and now he's ready to stand with the people. I love Wright's expression as he tosses the grenades in and then shuts the doors completely blasé. He's now left a corrupt and authoritarian regime to stand up and fight against it. So you could easily tell this story where you see that he's the hero. However, as we keep saying in the Last of Us world, no such things as heroes and villains. No good or bad, just all morally shades of grey. The Last of Us, of course, is all about seeing things from different people's perspectives and understanding why they got there, which is something we'll of course also explore with Abby. In the end, Isaac becomes
I think that's one of the things that the show is lacking at this point, is that they haven't given us enough for that background on Abby to make us care about her as a character. And I know, Abby didn't appear in this episode or anything like that. She wasn't in the last episode, but you just keep going back to that point. I think that you need someone that we are going to care about. And at this point, I don't know if Ellie is that person, at least not this portrayal of Ellie. I don't really know.
You could also kind of apply to the path that Ellie's on. Now, we do know from the journals that eventually the wolves overran Seattle and Fedra decided to leave. Their leader, Lieutenant Torres, was then killed in the final attack, with the rest of his team massacred at the courthouse. You find the remnants of this in the game, and it happening there has a very symbolic meaning. All the rights and rules they once stripped away have now backfired at the place of judgment. Isaac offers the rookie a choice, but in the end, he doesn't really have one. Just in the same way Isaac had to survive by signing up with Fedra, this rookie's now got to do the same thing. It's something that probably happened with a lot of the wolves, which is why there's been so much dissent. In the end...
Yep, just like they talked about how the wolves, a lot of the wolves end up becoming part of the Seraphites and not really the other way around. I think the wolves is sort of a situation, as we used to say, either get down or lay down. So like, you need to be a part of our crew, or else we are going to, tear you apart, and, you're not going to have any other choice. So yeah, it kind of sucks, man. It kind of sucks that you have to do all of this by force, but that's how they were able to get their numbers up. Whether that's going to be a lasting strategy, I don't know. It would be nice to have people who actually care about your group, as opposed to just being fearfully a part of your group.
It's a chilling way to start things that once more takes us to the titles. Last week, we ended with Ellie's silhouette just there by herself, and I do wonder if at some point the Joel stand
Do I play Marvel Snap? I sure do, man.
We'll talk about
I
their
sure
journey
do.
more in just
That's
a
crazy,
second.
yeah.
But firstly, just
I
a
haven't
quick
played
word
in
from
a
our
while.
sponsors.
It's been like a
This
few
video is sponsored
weeks
by
now. The
DC
last time I
Studio
played was when they
Showcase
were doing
podcast,
the
which is available on
what was
Max.
it, the
new
the
series
voltage
releases episodes every other Friday,
sort of like
and it covers
mini
movies,
game
comic
for
books,
like a
and
week.
everything
That was
a
the last time I
dedicated
played.
DC
I
fan
haven't played
needs to
in a while
know.
though.
Whether it's all the
do
updates
love
on
the game,
Superman
that's fine.
from James Gunn, or just the ins and outs of the latest comics, this podcast has got you covered. Hosted by Frankie Smith and Tyler
Yeah, we're
Coates,
gonna
with
fast
comic
forward.
correspondent Coy from Eugene's Bunker, have kind of been spread across the season. I did wonder if the meds as well, if they were playing on supplements which you used to upgrade your character. Like a lot of areas in the game though, it's been picked clean and you're just left with the dregs. There's some meds though, including one for a yeast infection. I wondered if that was because, you know, yeast carried cordyceps and people might have just thought it's not worth the risk. The first season saw a scientist examine an outbreak at a flower and grain plant in Jakarta.
If you're watching
He then
right now, we
explained how
just
the
finished
place was
watching The
perfect
Last of Us
substrate for the
season
cordyceps
2,
fungus
episode
to
4,
thrive.
and we're watching
So
a recap right now
you
and
would
discussing
skip
the
out on the
episode.
yeast a lot.
So
Dina
yeah,
then
let me
asked
know
if
what you
Ellie's
thought of the
rocking yeast
episode. Drop your
infection, to which
comments.
she
They will
says
be
not
shown on
today.
screen
The
and we can talk
infection
about them.
moves through yeast and she later gets bit but doesn't die today. So maybe it's like a little bit of clever writing, or maybe I'm just reading too far into it. Have Screen Crush uploaded yet? Go watch them instead. Tina then finds something which we later learn are the pregnancy tests. She was sick last week and is again later on in this episode. But the question is, will these 26-year-old pregnancy tests even be accurate? They usually last about 1 to 3 years. I don't know. Well, I do know because, yeah.
26-year-old. See, now that's something I totally didn't even think about, is that, you know, are these tests going to actually be accurate because they are so old? And it did seem like Dina was throwing up, but it was because of the different smells and stuff that was going on, not because, you know, she was potentially pregnant. So yeah, interesting.
She's pregnant, and Jesse definitely looked her up. Last week in the tent, she mentioned how she'd gone back to him, which was a new addition for the show. In the game, we didn't actually have that 3-month gap in between, and Ellie and Dina just headed out. So I don't know if it's going to cause extra issues and add more to the love triangle, as in the game, you kind of understood, like, yeah, Dina used to be with Jesse, now she's with Ellie, whereas now it's like she kissed Ellie, but then went back to Jesse, but Ellie, it's more complicated. Dina then says she's going to pee, but judging by the amount of tests she takes, she's going to be like Austin Powers after he wakes up. We then cut to the outside of the pharmacy and get Seattle Day 1 on screen. It's just like the game where
if
each
you
day
watch
was
right now,
marked.
let me know
I
what you
do
thought of the
wonder if this will
episode.
be a framing device
Was
throughout
it
the
good?
show,
Was it
as
bad?
we
Was it
do
somewhere
jump
in
about a
between?
lot over the same 3 days. Ellie is also waiting
I
on
think it was an
Shimmer.
okay
Now, in the
episode.
game,
I love
this
the action
downtown
part,
area
but
they're in is just a big,
some of the
big
character
open world
moments and the
section
character
where you can
development
visit
was
multiple places.
lacking. I wasn't
This includes
feeling
a
that.
bank where you can find Nathan Drake's ring, a WLF base we mentioned earlier, the courthouse, synagogue, and also the music store that pops up later. You also discover the playing card for Dr. Uckman, which was a play on the game's creator. It's a shame that a lot of this was cut, as there are a number of memorable moments. It's pretty much just a side quest though, where you get fuel to open a gate, so watching it I can totally understand why cutting it was necessary. Give us a 20-minute council scene instead. I need more therapy sessions where they lie to the therapist.
Yeah. Now that's one part that I will 100% agree with this recap on, is that they have tended to waste some time in certain scenes that weren't completely necessary. Like I think the stuff with them hooking up, that was, you know, that was a little bit unnecessary. I think like they said, the therapy session stuff, completely unnecessary. At least for them to go on as long as they did. And I mean, you want the story to progress. You want there to be more things happening in the episodes. And then when you get bogged down by that stuff, it's a little rough.
Isabela Merced is just amazing in this episode though, as she just drops subtle little clues in her acting. As she gets on Shimmer, she acts normal but totally gives away something's up. But as they get going, she looks both happy and terrified at the same time, which is a feeling I'm sure many parents will remember very well. You know what? Twins. Fucking kill me. No, I love them. Wouldn't change a thing. Isabela just smashes it though, and I was kind of a bit meh on Dina in the game.
Yeah, I think that the actress who plays Dina does a good job on the show, man. Like she comes across as genuine. I don't really like exactly how the character is written, but that's not really her fault. So I think that she does a good job, a good convincing job with what she's provided on the show. What do you think? Let me know.
But the show version, yeah, she's my favorite character. They then head to Capitol Hill in search of the WLF. We cut about and also see a dirty stuffed bunny. Just like the giraffe cuddly toys, this symbolizes a loss of innocence. We also have a lot of attention to the Pride logos, and in real life, this is a well-known LGBTQ+ area. This is just like the game with the same flags. However, this happened in the game after the school section, which was totally cut out, including Jordan. In case you don't know, they basically get the fuel from the courthouse and then ride out to power up the gates. This then takes them to the Saravina Hotel, which is now the site of a massacre. Turns out Tommy's rolled through and killed one of Abby's allies, Nick. He tortured him and another person, doing the same trick Joel did with the map in Season 1. I did wonder if we get a little nod to that as they ride past the hotel around the 9-minute mark.
See, you wonder why they skipped over that, because I felt like that was some big character development moments. And they just totally skipped over that part. I forgot about that.
In the game, Ellie and Dina then continue on Shimmer.
I like how this recap is sort of like going through the episode the way and like tying it in with the game as well. Like that's pretty cool.
And all of a sudden they're rocked by an explosive. A guy called Mike arrives and kills Shimmer before then taking Ellie captive. This is when we catch back up with Jordan, who was also a member of Abby's crew that killed Joel. In the attack, Ellie slices his face, but they changed it for the show, so she cut Manny's hand instead. Dina then arrives and catches them off guard, and together she and Ellie kill Jordan. They then discover a little risque photo of Leo, which leads them to the news station. But yeah, Tommy had a big hand in a lot of that, and we learned how this was messing up the wolves. Isaac had actually put out an order that meant they had to kill trespassers. So not good, and I was a bit gutted they cut it, because like a never-ending story messed me up. Shimmer just kind of disappears in the episode though, and they leave him as they think it'll be easier to spot. Because of this though, I hope and pray we see the horse again. I miss you, Shimmer, because obviously though, yeah, he's not in the game beyond this point. As for those characters, it gave Tommy a lot more ruthlessness, but yeah, he's obviously still back at Jackson. Which, yeah, you know, I am in the camp of thinking they've underused Tommy, and I do think it's a shame. I know there's people who are like, I'm glad he's been cut, but for me, it just feels like something's missing, that we're not kind of following his path of revenge and being like, oh, it's pretty messed up seeing what's going on here, isn't it? And Ellie's like, well, we're gonna keep going. I'm gonna do the exact same thing. So yeah, just kind of
and yeah, that sort of that dichotomy between those two characters isn't there, and that is a a big part of the game, and the fact that that's lacking is kind of odd that they decided to take that part of it out.
Robs the character a bit and kind of knocks Tommy down in terms of how I feel he ties into the story. I even wonder if they're going to give his fight against Manny to Ellie and Dina, as that was a big part of his character too. But moving on. Anyway, Dina's confused as she thought that the area had been bombed. This is a line she also says in the game, but there it's at the downtown area. We know that Pedro actually ordered a carpet bombing of areas outside the QZ, which we heard about in part 1.
If you're watching right now, we're watching a recap of episode 4 of season 2 of The Last of Us.
Also, Dina's then confused by the
let me know
rainbow
what you thought of the
flags,
episode.
and she says the
Your
same line in the
chats
show as
will
in
be
the game.
displayed on the
What's
screen,
with
so
all
let
the
me know what you thought.
rainbows?
What's up with all the rainbows?
We mentioned in our episode 2 video how Seth obviously was alive in 2003, where gay people weren't as accepted. It wasn't until 2015 that same-sex marriage became fully equal to that of traditional marriage. There's obviously not the big campaigns for it either, and Ellie is even gay and has no idea what the flag represents. Echoes of the past are here as well, as we see the VW Beetle, which was all the rage at the time. It's here that they also find the tank from the game. The lines here are also almost identical to that.
I've never seen one of these in action.
I've never seen a tank this close.
What is it?
What is it?
Burnt skeletons?
3 burnt skeletons.
Ellie then mentions how the Federer soldiers probably fought each other after looking at the bodies. It's a callback to Isaac killing the Federer soldiers, and no doubt he went undercover after this and took down Federer from the inside. As mentioned in the note in the Federer truck in the game, an informant is out there, which I think the Isaac story lifts from.
Kind of like those astronauts.
Like Apollo 1.
One of the early moon missions, there was an electrical fire and the astronauts burned up in their capsule.
They're supposed to be the first ones to go to the moon, but they never made it off the launch pad. burned up in their capsule.
Along with this, Ellie's got a big interest in space, with her room having lots of astronaut posters and pictures of the planet. Dina then sees the TV station tower. As mentioned earlier, they have a big side trek to find out their base. Those big WLF letters spray painted on the dish. Simple that. Dina thinks it's a trap though, to lure people in. This does happen in the game though, but yeah, you're kind of going towards it. However, they do frame things just like the shot in the show. She also mentions how Capitol Hill is clearly clear, as no one came up to them when the tank hatch made the loud bang. Capitol Hill in the game actually had quite a number of infected enemies, and it was some of the best encounters in the game, mainly due to the level being so open and large that you could really get creative with it. Dina also playing things smart to get through the area shows how less reckless she is than Ellie. In our episode 1,
and yeah, the fact that they decided to not make that area, you know, like it was in the game is another weird choice too, because as a person, you know, watching the episode, if you go back a little bit, you know, I even said during the time where the episode was going on, like, you know, this doesn't make any logical sense that they could be walking through this area and nobody is there, no infected, no wolves, no nothing. And it just came across as weird. So I wonder why they did not go that route. And even if they had, like, you know, a small group of infected, that would have at least made sense, as opposed to being completely empty with the way it was in the show this time.
Breakdown, we discussed how this might be down to her immunity. Obviously, if you can't get infected, you're going to be less cautious in general. Like, Ellie's been bitten about like 4 times altogether at this point, I think. And yeah, she just keeps going because she's like, it doesn't mean anything, whatever, just keep going. Everyone else though, if they get bit once, death sentence. So you can understand, you know, how over time she'd get cocky and start to ignore all the lessons Joel taught her. Dina, however, is a student of the game from Joel. He had a wealth of experience from the military and also his life scavenging and robbing before Boston, which adds in such a great dynamic. It echoes that of the first season, where Dina's now taken on the cautious role of Joel, whereas Ellie has kind of arrested development. It's here though that they find the Valiant music store. It's one of the best parts of the game, and we get to see Ellie playing guitar and have a touching moment with Dina. What's crazy as well is that this moment is completely missable if you don't explore the area. Some of you played part 2, you might not even seen this scene before, but we are all completionists, aren't we? No, not like that one. As she walks in though, we can see Legend, greatest hits of Bob Marley, and also the Wailers. We then see Ja Rule's Pain is Love, and sadly, I can't quite make out the one to the right of Ja Rule. Maybe we should ask Ja Rule what his thoughts on the outbreak are. All of the music on sale appears to be vinyl though, which is a big hold on. Vinyl is wildly popular now, but back in 2003, it was pretty unheard of for a music store to still be selling it exclusively. I remember a lot of it being in the EDM section for DJs, but that was about it. CDs. Then again, this is a specialist store in Seattle, and that's a hipster heaven, so I'll give you this one. I'll let you guys have this one.
Yeah, I get that. With Seattle being,
you see a big Pearl Jam poster upstairs, and we can also see there's one in the show.
Definitely
in the
music
game,
town.
Ellie then sits down and plays Future Days First, which is a little reminder of Joel. That's not in the show, but they do have what sounds like some of the notes from the song as she touches the shelves. There's also a poster for Freezer Weasel, which might be a band from the game, but we haven't been able to locate anything. Let me know if you do though. There's also Vesper Twins and a few others we couldn't make out. We also see Prince Previn's Like Love and what looks like the soundtrack to The Graduate, which ends with a couple of people running off together, which you could potentially apply to the pair. As Dina walks around, we also see Flies for Halleck and Drops, which is an in-universe band. This is the same band Sarah had on her t-shirt in the game and show. Ellie then picks up the Tears for Fears album Hurting. That has Mad World on it, which you can also apply to the show. The Gary Jules version was also in the Donnie Darko movie around 2003, and it was the UK Christmas #1 in the same year, which wouldn't have been in this universe. Lucky people, can I swap? We then see Ashanti's self-titled as Dina plays with a drum set just like the game. Ellie then finds a guitar in a case, and though the rest are ruined, this has silica gel in it which has allowed it to remain intact. In the game, she then tunes it, which leads into a cool minigame. You could actually play it, and clever people manage to play songs like Enter Sandman on it. Like we get here though, Ellie plays a Haas take
That's
on
some
me.
folks that got way too much time on their hands if they're able to do that.
I don't know what I'm to say, I'll say it anyway.
I don't know about you guys watching, but like just seeing that version of Ellie in the game, like it makes me like I care about that version. The TV version, not so much.
Today's another day to find you. Today's another day to find you. What was that? I'll be gone. I'll be gone in a day or two. In a day or two.
Now, if you cast your mind back to season 1, you might remember that Ellie had a cassette of Aha's greatest hits in her room. In the same episode, the song could be heard after Riley turns on the power at the mall. Take On Me is a total 80s classic which foreshadows the danger looming of the TV tower. In a similar way to how she lost Riley, Ellie's now on a journey that could lead to Dina's death. However, whereas she couldn't save her first kiss, she manages to save Dina by taking the bite. It's a really deep moment and kind of plays off one of her saddest memories and losses. Now, in this universe, 80s songs in general always tend to signal danger. If you cast your mind back to season 1, you might remember Bill would play an 80s song if danger was coming. In the game, Ellie mentions the bonfire and Dina says she should have kissed her then. This might refer to the trailer that came out just before the game's launch where she played a cover of True Faith by Blue Monday. This was also hinted at in the Lost Levels that were released alongside the director's cut of the game.
If you got a chance
Dina
to watch the
says
episode,
she'll
what
make
did you
them beef
think?
jerky,
Jump in the
and it
comments.
could
Let me know
refer
what
to
you
this
thought.
moment.
I did. I remember thinking, who is this string bean girl stealing all the jerky? I didn't steal that much jerky.
Ellie then leaves the guitar standing up, just like it was on the stand in episode 2. On the podcast, they talked about how Joel seeing it dusty in episode 1 was what broke his heart the most. That was a gift he gave her, and the fact she discarded it showed exactly what she thought of him. However, after seeing him at the porch, it ended up back in her room. So personally, I believe we got an extra scene there that we might see coming down the line. This will be in which Ellie forgives him and the guitar symbolizes she wants to repair things, which is why she stood it up in her room the next day, and also why she stands it up here. Before Abby smashed his head like the like button, we then cut to Isaac and get a Last of Us and Bear crossover. On the left of the hob, you can also see posters about the workers' compensation and also the workers' rights, which are things you actually see at the aquarium. He then gives a monologue about how he used to impress women with his cooking and his love for Morviel cookware. Morviel. Can't pronounce it, I'm butchering it again. Leave a comment below saying, Paul, you are crap. In the end though, I think it's important to focus on the fact that Isaac got exactly what he wanted. It's kind of like a be careful what you wish for thing, which extends to everything. It also kind of reminds me that getting what you want
Isaac
also
on this
comes
show,
with a cost.
I enjoy
Just
Isaac.
in the same way that Joel saved Ellie,
Liked him even more in the
it ended up
game,
costing
so
him
I
more.
wonder if they're going to
He
keep
lost
all the
his
story
life,
beats with him
and
as well.
I also feel like Ellie found out. They're keeping a tight lipped on that at the moment.
If
but
you're
yeah,
watching right now,
I
drop a
think the
comment
pans
below. We are
symbolize
watching a
that.
recap
There's a
of
deeper meaning in the
episode
pans. Abby got
4
her
of
revenge
season 2 of
though,
The Last
but
of
I
Us.
don't feel like
I'm
it's
JD.
gonna make her happy, and I think if Ellie gets her revenge on Abby, it's gonna lead to the same thing. The importance of the pans here is that getting what you want just doesn't always mean you get exactly what you want. Hidden meaning in pans. This is something you can also apply to Isaac, as he got what he wanted, but then the scars rose up. He then became the thing he sought to replace and is now trapped in this endless war. Now this scene is a bit later in the game when you're playing as Abby. You're ordered to the FOB just like the rest of the WLF in the show. They're planning something big and you see Isaac interrogating a scar. There he's wearing the same outfit, which is a nice touch for the show. In the game he's also using a set of screwdrivers and you don't really get to see it. Overall they just kind of gloss over the interrogation, but here we get it all playing out. And it's really messed up. Like cutting to a naked guy, it's just getting tortured. It's just really, really intense.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that either.
I wouldn't go on TV naked like that and then be like, just lying out. Let Jeffrey Wright hit me with a pan. Be like, at least let me get a semi on first, mate. Now, he forces him to hold out his hand and burns him with one of the pans. However, the Seraphite welcomes it. He sees it as a test of fate and believes he'll live under the Prophet's rule in paradise. Isaac says how there's scars that don't believe the Prophet was a magical being and just a person, but the Seraphite calls them heretics. In the game, we learn how the Prophet's teachings were twisted and warped after her death. I think it kind of also speaks to how people look for reasons and answers in things. When something bad happens, you know, people handle it differently. Some believe something's happening from a higher power, some look to the government, and there's even those that go to conspiracy theories. Everyone has their own path they turn to that gives them a reason to what's going on. And you can't even argue that, like, one's more valid than the other. You have to remember that to these people,
if you watched the episode, what did you think of the episode tonight? Let me know.
Destroyed. During the outbreak, Seattle was rocked and the infected ran through the streets, which you could very much see as hell coming to Earth. Now, during this time, there was a lower area called Queen Anne that seemed to be protected. Those there believed it was because the Prophet protected them. Thus, they followed her, and again, big breakdown of their history on the channel. Isaac, in the end, though, ordered her execution, and since then, she's been made into a martyr. In her death, we learned how the elders had then taken young brides and would rule the roost.
I'm getting the word.
Yeah.
No.
Basically, everybody in this show is creepy on some level. There are no good guys. Everybody is pretty much some level of bad guy in this show.
Then argue back and forth about
and in the game.
In the game, you find notes from both that detail how the other's the bad guy. In all honesty, though, it just signals the propaganda. We find this from a note by a WF member who ended up joining the Scars. He says that it was the wolves that actually broke the truce, but even then, we don't know if it's reliable. We also learn in the game that the WLF soldiers were slaughtered after Seraphite children were killed. Manny says how the kids attacked them first, though, and asks Mel what they should do. It really just plays into how far they've fallen, though, as they'll now kill kids if they're part of the other side. Isaac even defends doing it though, and we actually saw a personal side of this last week. Now, I actually had a couple of comments being like, she wasn't unarmed, mate, she had a hammer, they were right to shoot her. But like, mate, if an 8-year-old girl came at me with a hammer, I'm pretty sure I can kick that ass in a fight. The Scar also says that Isaac's going to lose, but Isaac talks about their technological advantages. However, what the Scars have is faith and belief. It reminds me of that bit from The Godfather Part 2 when Michael says the Cuban rebels
will win. You have to wonder if that
There's
faith and belief is going to be enough to get them through. Like that,
but they've still managed to take hold.
It kind of comes off as culty to me.
People aren't fighting because of orders, they're fighting because of what they truly believe, and because of this, they'll always push further. That's also why people are leaving the WLF, because they just don't have the confidence that they can actually beat the Scars. Now, in this scene, Isaac wants to know where they're attacking next, which is
I wonder if they're going to actually show more of the Scars as we move forward and show.
Island, which is where all of them live at. There was actually a massive flood that broke off a big part of Seattle, and then since then it's became Scar Island, which I think we see later on in the episode. Either way, while Isaac took over Fedra, he can't take over the Seraphites.
If you watch the episode, drop a comment below. My name is JD, and I'm watching a recap of episode 4 right now. We just actually got to watching it on the stream, so let me know what you thought of the episode.
He was just chilling reading
Drop your comments. Your comments will be on the screen, and we can talk about it.
Now a hardline WLF soldier.
Also, hit that like button, hit the subscribe
button. He's been as brainwashed as the Scars, though.
We do live stream watch parties every week for these
soldier
episodes.
Also doesn't see the Scars as people and that they're just animals. It means there's no chance for a resolution. Isaac sees himself as right, and only by defeating the Scars can he survive, while the Scars will never give up their holy war. But to him, these aren't citizens, they're just sort of like the voters, and basically a group he can simply put down by othering them. In a note from the federal officer, it also said how the WLF will have to deal with beating everyone and dealing with the Seraphites. So they're kind of in way over their heads.
Yeah, regardless of what side you're on, nobody's really right.
We'll talk about later on. The guy also prays, which is something Lev does too, and you can even get a Seraphite to pray on their knees if you hold them up properly. I couldn't find the exact words for that prayer in the game, but let me know below if you do. Also, that guy lying naked there, probably gonna need some clothes, and maybe he should check out our merch store below. Not only do we have our brand new 2 cordyceps designs, but we watch it in the day and then clamber your way up to an office window. The layout of the outside of the building's really cool, and it's filled with ledges you can traverse. I do feel like the blood they see outside also comes from the Scars, and this then leads them to a broken window. This then allows them to get in, which is what you do in the game. Ellie also insinuates that if they find the WLF that weren't in Jackson, they'll take them out as well. Probably due to them seeing what the WLF did to the kid on the way to Seattle. It kind of juxtaposes how Abby and her gang said they wouldn't hurt anyone else, at least in principle. They did have that dilemma with what they would do if they interrogated someone, but yeah, it kind of just shows how Ellie's not messing around. The inside of the station also looks pretty different, and the pair come across a human pincushion. In the game, this was Leia, but here it's just some random soldier. In the game, Dina puked up when they found Tommy's horse, and there was a lot of bodies around.
It always makes me mad every time we were watching the show, like the entire time while I'm going through the show. They had opportunities to like grab weapons and different things, or like grab a vest, or grab the wolf like clothing and stuff. Like I would have done all those things. I would have had like all their gear on. They would have thought that like, oh, you know, this is some soldier that I just don't know. Then I could have been able to pop, take care of them and been able to do what I needed to do. But they did not do any of that stuff. So it just makes you think like, man, that's not the smartest route. That's not the smartest way to go about doing things if you had gotten caught up in a situation like this. At least that's how I felt. That's how I felt.
Around it. However, in the show, her morning sickness is more severe. It's triggered here, and she of course had it last week when she also saw the bodies. Ellie then follows the blood of the Seraphite logo, which says feel her love. This is in the game as well, and it just shows a nice attention to detail. A message of love, written in blood as well, just a fantastic juxtaposition.
You write born to kill on your helmet, and you wear a peace button. What's that supposed to be, some kind of sick joke?
Also made me laugh how Dina says, what's wrong with Seattle, as they realize the Seraphites are absolutely psychotic as well, which also possibly plays on this line from the game.
What the fuck is wrong with Seattle?
Everyone in this city's a fucking psycho.
She then grabs a radio, which tips them off to the hospital later. This is a replacement for the radio that's in the theater, which is missing from the show. In the game, you then explore the offices, but the piece is broken pretty quickly. WLF soldiers arrive, and you can overhear what they're saying. One of them wants to cut down the bodies, but the other one wants to secure the building, and they kind of argue back and forth. We also hear how Isaac wants a Scar alive for questioning, but the squad leader doesn't care. He just wants to kill them. In the game, there was a combination of Ellie and Dina being trespassers, and also being thought of as Scars. The trigger-happy soldiers were just ready to shoot anyone there though. I also wonder if there's an issue with Isaac's intel, as the soldiers just keep executing the Scars like we saw last episode. The scared WLF officer dialogue also calls back to a discussion of kids being used, as he says he doesn't care if it's a woman, child or baby, just kill everyone, which again shows how these kids keep getting brought into the war. Just like the game, you then hide behind boxes while trying to take out the soldiers. You can also whittle down their numbers and make a dash for it to escape the building. Whenever I play, I just tend to lob a Molotov as soon as they come in. Also, that's my gameplay for it, yeah? I've been going back through it because I thought, well, I might as well just grab the scenes instead of ripping it from someone else's videos. Had people saying in the comments though, like, I don't think Paul's ever played the game, and I'm like, mate, I fucking like that was been my whole life for like years and years. Pandemic, mate, 2020. What do you think I was doing? Just played Last of Us all day, every day. I'm making hour-long videos on this shit. What do you mean? Writing a fucking 20,000 word dissertation on it every single week. What do you mean? Ellie then she tries her best to stealth kill a soldier using a flick knife. This is how she takes people out in the game, but here she can't really do it. The jujitsu lessons just not working out too well. Luckily, Dina's there to save the day once again. Dina shoots a window, and then they make a run for it.
I never understand
like
the shooting of a window, man.
Heart-pounding
Can't you just
sequence
break
in the
through
game
that
as
thing
you pass
anyway?
into some destroyed tunnels while everyone's shooting at you. You then run through a door and put a vending machine down as a blockade, but here they have to crawl down through a gap. In the game, you can hear the soldiers moving through the area, searching, and then you notice a clicker. It's like, oh shit. Upon dropping down, the soldiers then enter, and I always throw a bottle to bring out the infected. This thing gives you time to run and get into a carriage. At 31:57, you can also spot a Burger King-like sign. I did wonder if this might be Fast Burger, which we saw in the Left Behind DLC. In the show, we then see as the soldiers drop into the tunnels and spark up a flare. It gives it a really ominous red lighting, just like the game, and I always thought it was one of the creepiest scenes. The added danger here, though, is that we know fire attracts the cordyceps. While the sparkler attracted them in Jackson, the WLF have alerted the horde in the subway. I love how Dina uses her listen mode once again, and she counts how many infected there are, just like the first episode. It really pays off the setup there, but just gets worse and worse, and she just stops counting. In the game and show, they also talk about how the tunnels are supposed to be clear. I just lobbed a brick as soon as I got down there, so I don't have any footage of it, because I'm an idiot, yeah, but they do say it. I've played the game enough to say it. I have played the game. I want to make that clear. Honestly, though, I can see it just being a case of
if you watched episode 4 of The Last of Us Season 2, let me know what you thought in the chat below.
Infected, mate. It's all clear. Just let's get out of here.
Did you enjoy
Everyone's
the episode?
Obviously just trying to survive, and I've always
pretty
taken
good
it as
to me.
people lying
Pretty good.
rather than heading into danger. Because
best.
who's going to even go down and check to make sure they're right? As much as I love the game, I actually think this scene improves on it. The Horde's just way more terrifying, and there's that real intensity. Once you lock the doors in the game, you're safe, whereas here they just keep coming. However, they do an homage to the source material with the clicker. When you lock the door, one of them bangs against the window, and that's a moment that we get in the episode. There's also skeletons lining the carriages. Kinda horrifying just imagining the people traveling on a train and then getting stuck down there. I always found it so creepy coming across sites like this, as your imagination kinda fills in what happened, and it's always bad. As they drop down, an infected spots them, and you can see his t-shirt says Yakima. This is potentially a nod to Yakima Valley, which is a place in Washington state, which is where this is all set. And they actually skip over a big section and a new infected from the game, in that you go further into the tunnels at one point and even find a Prophet artifact. A Scartifact. You then find a soldier with big bad acid burns. Upon going deeper, you come across a new kind of infected known as the Shambler. These gigantic hulking beasts are somewhat between a clicker and a bloater. Able to throw acid spores at you, they're very, very deadly. When they introduced the Stalkers early, I did think we might get these as well. Maybe they'll save them for a future episode, but to be honest,
holding that to the end,
I did like how they kept up the tension with the Horde. This then leads to them ascending, but they change how they reveal Ellie's immunity. In the game, her mask gets smashed after she gets grabbed by an infected. Now why this is bad is because basically in the game you have spores around their hubs, and if you breathe in too much, then the cordyceps basically infect you. So seeing that with Ellie should be a death sentence. Dina panics and offers to share hers, but Ellie quickly rips hers off and says that she's immune. The Horde then show up, and she doesn't really have time to question it.
Watching a recap right now that is talking about the differences between the game and episode 4, so you can chime in with those as well.
Especially after all that sprinting. Ellie is fine though, and it kind of proves it to Dina, which I always thought was kind of a weak way to do it, because they don't really ever touch on it again. Ellie's like the most important person on Earth. You know, Dina would realize this because she's immune, but it's just kind of like, oh, you're immune. Okay, let's get out of here. And then they just kind of go,
they
well,
did
you
sort of
are a
gloss
bit
over
immune
it
anyway.
real
That's pretty
quick,
fun, but that's the end of it. Here, though, everything's far more intense. Ellie gives her arm and takes the bite, and then they make it through the turnstile. Someone then gets stuck, which plays slightly off the game, in that Ellie's grabbed by a clicker and then Dina comes back and kills it. This thing gets stuck in the door, and that's what jams everything down there. Upon leaving, though, we get Dina being torn up. She stops, and we even get focus on the gun because she knows what she's meant to do. I love how the theater even has the word sick on the marquee, as Dina's probably wondering if she is. Though you can't make out the sign, this is for the band Sick Habit. This is an in-universe band that Dina talks about at the record store. In the game, the marquee said Cassandra.
I don't know if I was Dina if I would have
immediately
went to go,
Ellie
draw
plays a
my
guitar
weapon
in the
like
back
that,
at
but
one point, so potentially it belonged to them. Now this
I don't
theater
know.
pulls right from the game, and it's where the pair end up making their base. I love Isabela Merced's acting here. As you can tell, she's really divided. And it's easy to put yourself in her shoes. Like, imagine if someone you liked, like me, say I got bit, yeah? You'd struggle over whether to shoot me or not, wouldn't you? Wouldn't you? It's sort of playing off the Riley scene though, and how Ellie must have also felt in those moments. Ellie also puts out her hand to prove it, which is what she did in season 1 episode 2. Dina then watches her through the night with a gun pointed at her, which is different from the game. There Dina tells her she's pregnant when they arrive, and she's completely exhausted. You even have to carry her to the theater, and then she has to rest up.
Ellie. I think I'm pregnant. I'm pregnant.
The pair then kiss,
Did kinda
and
come
there's
out the blue.
definitely a lot of fear, danger, excitement, and feeling like they're finally at their most open and honest together. Dina thought Ellie was gonna die, and thus she just made the most of it.
See, that was the part that I probably disagreed the most with. Like, yo, I ain't got time for that. Like, I mean, I need to find a safer place before I get to that point where I want to, hook up with somebody in the middle of this sort of this apocalypse. And it's not like they were necessarily back at, it's not like they're back at their camp or in their home. They are in the enemy territory, just got chased to this place, and now you want to sit there and get your grind on. Like, didn't make a whole lot of sense to me.
Which isn't the scene you get in the game. They climb onto the roof and start up the power. During this you discover the radio, which gives you a better idea of where everyone is. Ellie then explores the theater and discovers a guitar in the back. Playing Future Days, it again keeps her focused on why she's doing this. Dina announcing her pregnant, you know, it should be a shock to the system. Obviously, you don't want to put anyone like that in danger, but Ellie stays stuck on her path. In this show,
yeah, if you're watching right now, we are watching a recap of episode 4 of The Last of Us season 2.
Without really second guessing things. Dina also brings up the chemical burn like she does in the game.
Chemical burn.
You said it was a burn.
I did it myself.
You did it to yourself?
Dina then talks about how her mother pushed her towards liking boys, but how it never really worked out. Ellie and probably Joel, they've allowed her to be herself, and that's why the pair are on this quest together. They have a pretty chill morning talking about their past, eating beef jerky, which she cooked up before, pregnancy tests, and so on and so forth. They also talk about their future, which we'll discuss in the spoiler section. However, their happy moments are broken up by the sound of gunfire. Hearing the mention of Nora on the radio, it also gives her location. Racing to the roof, they see the battle between the wolves and Scars raging on. The city is a complete war zone, and they're now heading directly into it. I was actually expecting it to pop up Seattle Day 2 and end the episode, but maybe they'll do that next time. You might also notice the crane and the island broken off over the water. That is Scar Island, and the cranes are what the Scars use to traverse about the city. We then end with Ellie telling Dina to stay, but she says,
"Together.
You go. I go."
Anyway, that wraps up the episode.
Yeah, man. Interesting. So yeah, I think that you know, overall it was a solid episode. I thought that we got some action. We definitely got a lot of character development and progression of the story. It still leaves me wanting more. Of course, I'm going to continue to watch it, but there are some aspects of the show that I don't particularly care for, and because of that, it makes me a little bit more turned off from the show than I was the game. I think that inherently when you have a game, you come to get closer to the characters involved, as opposed to watching. You're actually participating in these things that are happening. So yeah, it's a little bit harder to get close to Ellie in this show, since, you know, she's the only one we have left. I think Joel being gone is a struggle. I think that they want you as a watcher of the show to feel that as well, and that's exactly what we get in this. And I really want to know where they're going to go from here. I did not watch any of the other stuff for the spoilers. I'm not going to spoil that for you guys watching too. But yeah, if you enjoyed this, I really appreciate you for checking this out. If you lasted this long, or if you're watching after the fact, please hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, drop a comment below, and hit that notification bell so that you can be notified each and every time we go live in 2025. I will be back next week. Probably sometime between 7 and 7:30 Central Time before the episode comes out. Usually I like to watch or play the first game a little bit and get everything set up, and then once the episode starts, or we watch a recap of the previous episode, talk about it a little bit, and then once the episode starts, we watch together and talk about it. So yeah, just big shout out to everybody who came in the chat this week. We had my guy Bloody Body was in the chat, Seattle Ryan was in the chat, Joe Frazier was in it, or Joe Foster was in the chat. My bad. Big shout out to all those guys. Katie popped on the stream for a little bit. So yeah, just happy that you know, to have the interaction and have everybody come and chill out. So yeah, if you're watching now, do that next week. Come hang out with us next week. As you can see, we throw all the comments on the screen, so your comments will be displayed and discussed. But yeah, I really appreciate you for hanging out with me. My name is JD, and I will see you when I see you. Peace.